Let's
just get right into it. We got a lot of ground to cover.
Ground. That's what Jahmyr Gibbs did yesterday.
Ground.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Dude.
Okay. Welcome to... that camera's not facing me correctly.
Bro, but the Super Bowl is red and green.
Okay.
The logo's red and green.
No, but that fell apart last year. That wasn't.
Did that fall apart last year?
Yeah. It was like red and purple. And so everyone thought it was going to be the Ravens, but nope, it was Chiefs Niners. So...
Because they were like, they're on to us, and then they think we're stupid.
Oh,
and so they're going to go back to it. Yeah.
Well, that was my prediction coming into the season. So
that would be such a good like rematch for a three-peat. And
it would be.
How much redemption would you feel as an Eagle to not only come back and beat them, but to snuff out their three-peat?
Okay, welcome to the house, episode 23. Big episode today. We got so much to talk about. We're going to have all of the people whose teams actually made the playoffs stopping by at the end of this episode to talk about how they're feeling going in. Bryan, 5th overall pick for the Raiders. 6th. Sorry, your position is even worse than I thought it was.
Yeah. Yup. So
what a disaster of a year.
And then too, like the really disaster part is that the top 3 picks are quarterback needy teams.
Yep. I was like, oh, Giants are picking a quarterback, Browns are picking a quarterback, and
and there was just a report today
Patriots
that
are picking
Deshaun Watson has a setback.
Yeah.
And they restructured his contracts and all kinds of stuff. Like there's talks about him being the starter, but this gives the Browns an easy out of like, oh, you had a setback. We don't know if you're going to be back. We got to make sure we have a quarterback.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and the Titans. That's right. Yeah.
And the Titans.
Yep.
The Titans have the number 1 pick.
You're screwed, buddy. That sucks.
So I have been doing my research on running backs and cornerbacks.
It's going to be
a really good
cornerback
coming out of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Genty doesn't sound like a bad idea. We don't have a running game.
Let's just not even talk about it right now.
But if you look
this isn't even worth talking about. This is an off-season type of conversation. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just not relevant.
Whatever.
I'll spend 2 seconds on the Seahawks. We missed the playoffs because we lost to the Giants.
Yep. Good job.
Can't even be that upset, though.
Bravo.
I'm going to spend slightly longer than 2 seconds. It was an improvement from last year with the first-year head coach. The defense looks like it took some...
This is off-season talk, Isaac. This isn't relevant.
It is.
Nobody cares.
Whatever. I'm not mad. I'm just
disappointed.
Seahawks are
cooked.
The Mariners missed every big free agent. Team USA won the World Juniors. The Mariners?
No.
Well, draft doesn't matter in baseball.
No.
Oh, the Seahawks? Who knows? Somewhere in the middle.
Like 15?
Probably. Who knows? Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Okay. Let's take a look at our predictions.
All right.
And some things have changed from when we recap these halfway through.
Yeah.
Let's start with the NFC West.
Okay.
One of the worst divisions in football. Okay, I had Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. I'm going to give myself a pass on the Niners. They're injured.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, I think my direct quote was their ceiling is 10-7 fringe playoff contender. That's right where they were, outside looking in. The Rams, I discounted a little bit, but I had them right about the same spot as the Seahawks. I really think if the Niners are not injured, I have this division 100% correct. You were a little bit higher on the Seahawks than the Rams. That we were both out on the Cardinals. It looks bad because we put the Niners first. I think, honestly, when you look at some of our other predictions, the NFC West is pretty good for us. The storyline is really the Niners getting injured because otherwise this is just 3 mediocre teams fighting for a chance at maybe a wild card spot, which they would have come nowhere close to the way that the NFC North played. But, as soon as the top dog goes down, all of a sudden there's some extra drama with mediocre teams being able to fight for a playoff spot.
Right. Yeah. So, the Rams did this last year where they just went on a run and I guess, shame on me for counting out the original no look sidearm throwing Matty Stafford. I just really thought. I mean, I think you've seen it at the beginning of the season where the Rams really struggled on defense, and you could see the presence missing of Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
and I really thought that the Seahawks were ready to take a step.
Yeah, you had the Seahawks ranked higher than I did.
Yeah, I thought they were ready to take a step because I thought the Rams would take a step back. I thought they would run into more injuries than they did, and they did a little bit, but they were able to survive and kind of squeak out some gritty wins. And
yeah. I'm not too disappointed in us because a couple things go different. Either one of us is
like
right.
The Rams got the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Because their division started losing games that they shouldn't have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Niners all of a sudden got injured, and it just opened the door. And
yeah. But the Rams are like, what, 2-4 in division or something stupid like that? Yeah. So, I mean.
This next one.
This one's one of our bad
Raiders
ones.
fan.
AFC West. For someone that harps on me for fan picks, and frankly, I gave the Raiders too much credit.
Yeah.
I think here's where I was really wrong, and I'll own this. I said there's no way that I'm pretty sure I said there's no way that 2 teams come out of this division.
Yeah.
And we had 3 come out of the AFC West. But
Yeah.
it is the Chiefs and 2 of the most mid-playoff teams that
shout out
are
to
in the
Harbaugh,
playoffs.
dude. Like, if you look at his roster, there is no reason that the Chargers should be in the playoffs, let alone the 5th seed.
Yep.
Like, that is absolutely mind-blowing crazy.
Yep.
What he was able to do with this team in 1 year is phenomenal with the salary cap that he inherited. I mean, the good thing he had coming for him was he had Justin Herbert, but he was like banged up in the beginning of the season. And so you could see it in the way that they played in the beginning of the season and the way that they're playing now is like 2 different teams. So yeah. And then, the Raiders, there was glimmers of hope at the beginning of the season.
They were 2-2 at one point.
Yeah.
And then they lost 10 straight.
Did you know that the Bears were like 4-2 at one point?
Oh, we'll get to the Bears. So I had Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers.
Yeah.
You had Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. We were clearly wrong about that. And yeah, like you said, full props to Jim Harbaugh because he is the only reason that the Chargers were not.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Raiders were awful, but the Chargers should have been bottom feeders.
But you can just see by the team that like they are well coached.
Yeah, you were down on the Broncos, and my Broncos take did not look great
believe in Bo
at
Nix.
every point this season, but I think that my take was based off of them achieving their ceiling, and I think that 10-7 was their ceiling.
Yeah, and I didn't say like Bo Nix is going to be a flop or anything, but usually when you have a QB quarterback, you see a season kind of like Caleb Williams, where it's
rookie quarterback, but he
ups and downs. But he
developed in college.
Yeah,
and he had 7 years,
and his downs were the beginning of the season, and he bounced back right away.
Yep,
and
looked really good the second half.
Yeah, looked good.
Yeah. NFC North, we knew this was going to be a strong division. I think we both said we see 3 teams coming out of this division. We just weren't right about which 3 teams. I had Lions, Packers.
In my defense,
Bears, Vikings. You had Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings.
In my defense, the only reason I put Vikings last was because of Sam Darnold, but I said, watch out because the Vikings could.
We both took the Vikings last. I had the Bears third, but I had them as a fringe playoff team. We just fell for the hype a little bit. You'll see that come up again when we get to the AFC East. Yeah. It's painful having to go back and look at this twice, but we both nailed the Lions. The Vikings look good. Vikings could cause some problems in the playoffs, but the Packers are hungry too. This is a really strong division. This is the best the NFC North has been in a long time.
The Vikings looked really bad yesterday.
Yeah, playing against the Lions though.
Okay, but
with a wrecked defense.
That's what you got to do in the playoffs. Like you're no longer just going. Like you're going against the best teams in the NFL, right? Minus a few that get screwed by stupid playoff rules.
Right. Not our worst division.
No.
And
I think with the Bears, I think they have the pieces. There's just too much inconsistency.
They were 4-2.
Yeah.
They were 4-2. For a second, it looked like we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Hail Mary against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels.
And
stole
that was
all their
really,
magic.
that was literally the downfall because you've seen it.
How often do you get to look at a team's narrative from a season and just be like, yep, right there.
Yeah.
That's who did it, officer.
You're
culprit.
not wrong. I mean, there are turning points in seasons, but like from a moment, from a play,
Yeah.
that's hard to find.
Yep.
And you could totally pinpoint a lot of the Bears' downfall to that, because then it escalated into the bad clock management, and then it was just one thing after another, and then the coach is fired.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, we're going down. This is going
They won
down.
one game after that.
Yeah, dude.
One game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And they were like so hyped up because Caleb Williams was like, Packers or we haven't beat the Packers and da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, you beat the Packers second string barely.
Easy, Caleb. It's you got one win. It was week 18.
Yeah.
Against the second string.
Yeah.
Then you guys lost like 10 in a row. Not great.
Because the Commanders won, the Packers thought about throwing their starters back out, or throwing their starters out there.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been amazing.
That
That would have been so awesome for Bears fans.
It would have been interesting.
Because they're so, dude, like, yeah. It would have been super fun.
AFC North, I have Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers.
Yeah.
You had Bengals first, Steelers, Ravens, Browns.
Yeah.
You had the Steelers. You picked up that the Steelers were way better than I gave them credit for.
Yeah.
We both fell for the Bengals a little bit. I at least had the Ravens winning the division.
No, I don't think that we fell for the Bengals. I think the Bengals ran into a series of, like, some years it's just not your year. And this was one of those years for the Bengals where, like,
they're one win away.
You look at that game against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like, they should have won that game.
They're one win away.
They're one kick away.
And
they're one kick away. And then
how many one possession games did they lose there early on? Like, it was setting a record at one point.
Yeah, like, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I mean, you look at even that game against the Broncos, didn't they miss like a kick? Like,
oh yeah,
it was like a chip shot.
Yeah. Well, they ended up winning that,
but
that
still,
game.
Like, that's the type
that
of
was the
stuff
type of season they had
that they kept running into. And shout out to Joe Burrow, who put up an MVP caliber season and does not even get mentioned.
He's not going to get any credit.
No, but he threw more touchdowns and more receiving yards than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So I don't think we fell for it. I think that the Bengals just ran into a season where it was just like, we have needs that have to be filled no matter how good we are on offense.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with T. Higgins. Raiders, if you by some chance hear this, you give T. Higgins a blank check and you say, you let me know, dog.
Don't
let me know.
T. Higgins, don't. You were such a fantasy backstop for me. Don't do that to yourself, man.
Do it.
No.
Come to the dark side.
No, who's going to throw the ball to T. Higgins?
Yeah. I don't know. Shedeur could force his way.
Shedeur's not going to be on the Raiders, Brian.
Eli. He could pull an Eli.
Mm-hmm.
If he pulls the Eli, it'll be to the Giants.
Yeah. Okay, so
we're probably going to get that quarterback out of Oregon.
The Browns I had in third only because I thought that Deshaun Watson wasn't as cooked as he was before he got injured for the rest of the season.
You're silly.
You had the Ravens in third place, which is wild to me.
Well, because if the Bengals, like if you realistically look at it,
if the Bengals win a couple games, maybe there's three teams that come out of it. But the Ravens, Derrick Henry was everything that was advertised for this Baltimore team. They look really good going into the playoffs.
That was my downfall. Is I did not think, and I'm sorry, King. You are still King Henry, and I did not think it would work. I didn't think it would work. I thought an aging back in a system where they want to run the ball repeatedly.
Yeah,
I did. Dude, shout out to him for how well he takes care of himself, because that's like unheard of for running backs.
His, at some point he's gonna not be able to do it anymore. But that was not this year.
That was not this year.
Not this year.
Do you draft him next year?
Man, it's so tough.
It's so tough, dude. Because
it's another offseason conversation, but it's a really interesting one.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, NFC South, bad division. We identified that before the season.
Yep.
I got the Bucks winning the division.
Oh my god!
And Baker, we trust, dude. I took
so
the Bucks.
wrong.
I had the Saints in second, and I don't really know what happened. You had the Saints winning the division.
Yeah.
I was not.
Dude, and I looked, hold on, though.
You looked good for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You looked really
They
good.
looked like world beaters. And then just.
Yeah. What happened to the Saints this year?
Injuries, bad coaching.
Yeah.
They have a team that doesn't have chemistry, which is wild for the first 2 weeks that they put up.
Yeah.
And you can see it, like the players just don't look like they want to be there.
No. What's crazy is that that allowed the Panthers to not be last.
Yeah.
They both tied at 5-12, but the Panthers not being last is nuts.
And I thought Mike Evans would take a step back. And I mean, he was out for a little bit, but he still looked like Mike Evans. I thought Kirk Cousins would do better than he did. I want to shout out to Bryce Young, because we had a segment on here where we talked about all of the young benched quarterbacks.
Yep.
And it looked like, they were saying, oh, he's still our guy, but they have to say that, right? They spent the number 1 overall pick on him.
But as much as I'm wrong
Dude,
in these predictions, do you remember what I said when we had that conversation?
No.
I said, I think that Bryce Young has the skill set to go do what Sam Darnold, Geno Smith is doing right now. And the Panthers just finally let him
let him cook.
Let him
cook.
Set him up for success finally.
Yeah.
They're
with the old man Thielen. Oh, I'm Adam Thielen, and I still catch passes in the NFL. I'll be out here for you, Bryce. I'm here for you. Want a butterscotch, Bryce?
Adam Thielen catching strays.
Dude, whoa, bro. He should be cooked, but he looks good.
With as bad as the NFC South was this year, you got to think that this division cannot be the way it's been the last 2 years next year. Like there is a chance that you could have some serious development out of this division next year. Yeah.
You get Penix, but the Saints are cooked, dude, because they have like negative $53 million in cap space. The Panthers have a ton of cap space.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And with what they were able to do at the end of the season, and if Bryce Young could keep going with that, because there's still more, like he could still get better. Yeah. And he looked so good yesterday. Their defense is just so bad.
It's a sneaky 3 playoff team division. Like if there was betting odds on it, gamble responsibly. Yeah. If there was betting odds on it, you could probably get some really good odds on something that isn't as unlikely as you would think with how bad the division was this year. Yeah. The AFC South. This was the one division that we had the exact same picks on. We had the Texans winning, which I guess by default,
they had to win.
The Texans won.
If somebody's going to win.
We flip-flopped the Jags and the Colts because we thought that the Jags were going to be a fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
Well, the team that won is barely a fringe playoff team in the Texans. Yeah. The Colts go 8-9. The Jags go 4-13. Trevor Lawrence is injured. I will stand by our pick of...
The Colts didn't go 4-13.
The Jags did.
Yeah.
Jags go 4-13. The Colts went 8-9.
Yeah.
So I think if Trevor Lawrence isn't injured, maybe we get this one perfect.
He didn't get injured till late in the year, and they looked cooked before that.
I mean, yeah, it was not trending correct. And then the Titans bring up last. What do you
do there? Do you still believe in him? Like I don't
know, but how is this division going to look next year? Because the Texans limped into the playoffs. Maybe the Colts become the new...
And CJ Stroud did not look like CJ Stroud.
Well, it didn't look like freshman CJ Stroud, but sophomore CJ Stroud we've gotten pretty accustomed to over the past 10 weeks, and it's not that much fun to watch.
It's really not. It's ugly. And, I mean, he's overthrowing receivers. He's just all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do with him.
Both South divisions, bad. The NFC East, I got the team that won correct in the Eagles. You took the Cowboys 1. I took the Cowboys 2. Then I had Commander Giants. So I got the first and last place teams correct. Commanders are one of the big surprises out of the season. And, again, not that I'm putting money on this because it's illegal up here and also gamble responsibly. But the Commanders are like a sleeper team
illegal?
Yeah. Well, we don't have sports betting. There's not a legal sports book up here.
How do you get away with it?
Like VPNs or something? Not that I'm advocating for that, but
that's weird.
I'm sure that there's probably some, I don't know, like local shady bookies. I don't know. I'm not sports betting because it's illegal.
But I mean,
in
there's
the state
like
of
prize
Alaska.
picks here.
Yeah, but that's like they get around. I don't know. The whole industry is a little bit shady.
Did you know that there's more people betting on like Prize Picks and DraftKings than there are people like investing. It's like
That's crazy.
yeah.
Sports betting is the new investing.
Yeah.
And it'll ruin just as many people's lives.
Yeah.
And marriages.
Yeah.
So
and marriages.
So the Commanders are like my sneaky Super Bowl pick. They've won enough. I'm not saying that they're the favorite. I'm just saying that like
I can't even see it.
For the odd, I think
They don't have a defense to do it.
When we go over our brackets, that's
not what I really
in my
made,
bracket.
like,
But I think the Commanders are a much better team than anyone thought they were going to be. Obviously,
yeah.
The Cowboys, what a disappointment. But I really don't
Did you
think
see
they were
that
that
fan
far.
that was like, it was an Eagles fan, I think. He was like talking to Jerry.
No,
and he was like, "You're doing great, Jerry. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. We love you. We appreciate you, buddy." Pre-game, yeah. And
ooh, boy.
they couldn't even beat a team where, like, was that the game where Kenny Pickett, like, went to go pump fake? Or he went to go throw the ball, and then he, like, tried to pull it back in, and he ended up falling on the ground?
I don't know.
This is so funny.
I don't think the Cowboys are 7-10 if Dak doesn't get hurt, but I don't think they make the playoffs.
They don't
this year,
I don't
with
think
them healthy.
Yeah, they do not look great.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they have some serious soul searching to do. The Giants are freaking awful, which is crazy because they beat my team, my 10-7 team. One of their 7 losses to the Giants. Anyway, this is definitely our worst division. Is the AFC East, because the only thing we got right was the Patriots being last. I have Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots. You have Jets, Dolphins, Bills, and I don't know. I just listen to you too much. I'm blaming you for this. You convinced me. You convinced me that the Bills were cooked, and the Bills are definitely not cooked.
It's not that they're not cooked. They just have Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is him.
Yeah.
The Bills are, by the way, the Bills are the team I'm rooting for.
You got to feel
playoffs.
like a dude. Yeah.
I'm a Bills fan.
For the playoffs?
Shannara and I, yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 100%.
I'm anybody but the Chiefs.
That's most of America. The Jets are my number one regret is I fell hook, line, and sinker for the hype
Everybody
train.
did.
And that team sucks.
They suck real bad.
And they are in deep trouble now because there is nowhere to go from here. They have.
You've made the trades.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like you've brought in the free agents.
They're in a deep hole.
And there's just no getting out of it. And so like Aaron Rodgers gone. Devontae Adams gone. Like Garrett Wilson wants out. Breaking news. Dolphins, Tyreek Hill wants out.
Would the Dolphins have missed it? So there are the Texans are 10-7. The Chargers are 11-6. The Broncos are 10-7. The Steelers are 10-7. If Tua isn't hurt, I don't think the Dolphins miss the playoffs. Tua misses 6 weeks in there. They finished yesterday. 8-9, but they finished 8-9 still, even with that loss. If Tua isn't hurt for 6 weeks, I think the Dolphins are a playoff team.
Too, and it was like a bad,
and we're about to get into it, but you look at the playoff picture. The NFC, there is like 5 out of the 7 teams that I'm like, like I could see them. You know, they you never know. Any given Sunday, right? You could win a couple games, all of a sudden you're in the Super Bowl. The AFC, there are 3 teams.
Yep,
three teams, right? And our Super Bowl predictions, mine is still alive. Eagles, Chiefs, although maybe not the most likely scenario. Not who I have in my bracket that we just filled out.
Why wouldn't you follow your bracket?
It's still alive.
Why wouldn't you follow your prediction?
Well, my prediction was from the start of the season.
Boo this man. He's a phony. He doesn't even stand by his own predictions.
Oh my gosh. Your preseason, you're just trying to cover for the fact that your preseason Super Bowl prediction was the Lions versus the Bengals. So, yeah.
It should have been the Bengals. I hate Kansas City for sitting their starters. They need to, just like they're making a big deal in the NBA, they need to make a deal with, why have another game if teams aren't going to play it?
I don't know. Money.
When it has serious playoff implications.
Money. Because money.
I get it. I know why.
You know what
but
owners like? Money.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Money's great.
It's pretty stupid, though.
Okay. our brackets. We filled these out individually.
Yeah.
Before the show. Mine was flip face down. I'd already filled it out. And we came up with the exact same playoff bracket. Yeah. So Brian, why don't you take us through the AFC?
That's how I know it's wrong.
That's how you know that this is not going to happen. It'll be wrong by week 1 for sure.
Okay, I got the Chargers beating the Texans.
We have the Chargers beating the Texans, yes.
We have the
Mind Trust.
The Ravens beating the Steelers, which,
Okay, so the AFC week 1, I don't think any of these games are going to be interesting. Well, I just think that this is a lock.
I mean, I could see the Texans like all of a sudden getting hyped and pulling something out of,
But I could see the Bills, Josh Allen gets injured in the first quarter and the Broncos win the game. Like anything could happen.
Yeah.
But
why would you even put that in the universe?
Oh, I'm sorry. Bills fans. Yeah, you don't want the Seattle
bad
jinx
juju,
dude.
Sorry.
It's not going to happen. The Bills should walk all over the Broncos, who limped into the playoffs. The Ravens are going to pants their division rivals on national TV. Yeah. The way the Steelers have fallen off the second half of the season really is crazy.
What do the Steelers do?
Who knows? But the Ravens and the Bills will play each other in the, I guess that'd be the quarterfinals.
Division.
Yeah. And then divisional round. And then I've got same thing, Chiefs, Chargers here on the AFC. And then we've got, I think, the same two teams making it to the AFC Championship. But this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. Yeah. Because we have Ravens, Bills, and this one was one I went back and forth on for a long time.
And what my deciding factor was, is I'm done betting against Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I am done betting against Josh Allen.
Two guys that had MVP caliber seasons.
Yeah.
But the difference maker for me is that this game is in Buffalo in January.
Yeah.
These two teams, and what sucks is that these two teams have had years of being little brother in the playoffs to KC.
Yeah.
And only one of them is going to get the chance to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship when Kansas City inevitably beats the Chargers by a field goal, like 19-17 again, with 0 seconds left on the clock.
How funny would that be if they lost to LA?
They can't. For narrative purposes, they cannot, because the Ravens or the Bills, I need one of them to at least play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, are the playoffs even as interesting? You
The three-peat versus little brother finally growing up. He hit puberty. He sprouted up. He's tired of being pushed down, put in the closet. Yeah. And so we both take the Bills. We take the Bills to beat the Ravens. We take the Bills to beat KC. I don't like that. I don't like that because we have seen over and over again throughout history the Bills losing to the Chiefs.
Here's the deal, though. Last year, they're a bad coaching call away from beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The year before that,
overtime, right?
They're a coin flip away.
Oh, yeah.
From beating the Chiefs.
They're right there.
But
the Chiefs' Luciferian magic, Brian, you can't bet against it.
I can and I will.
Against the Chiefs.
I can and I will.
If you look on paper, the Bills beat the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you look on paper and everything logical is screaming that the Bills is the right take. And that's what I took because I'm a man of logic. But when the Chiefs beat the Bills, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, you stupid idiot, Isaac, you fell for it again.
Yeah.
You bet against the Chiefs again.
Yeah.
The NFC. Again, same bracket.
This is
tough.
This one is hard.
This is really tough. I think the easy game. So, as weird as this NFL season has been,
it's not even an easy game, though.
No. I'm not talking about that one. As bad as this NFL season has been, not as bad. It's fine. But like as weird and as many crappy games as there were, and crappy storylines and crappy teams, the playoffs are going to be electric because there are some fantastic matchups in here.
Yeah.
Not on the AFC in week 1, but in the NFC week 1.
Yeah.
Eagles, Packers. I went back and forth on that game because, again, logic. You should take the Eagles. Eagles lost to the Bucs in the playoffs last year. Eagles crumble when it counts. Packers are hungry. Jordan Love's hungry.
Yeah.
I took the Eagles because that's the logical choice, but that game could go either way.
Yeah, and I think what I really bet on more so than anything was Saquon Barkley.
Same.
And I
Same.
was just like,
MVP caliber. I think if there's a non-quarterback player in the league that could be in consideration, and he's not going to win it because Josh Allen is nuts and Lamar Jackson is nuts. But Saquon had an incredible season. If he would have broken the record if he played Week 18, but you also risk him breaking his leg in the process of breaking the record. Right. So you can't, make
but
the right
you
decision.
could really see that game going either way because the Packers can be fiery, but I don't know. I think they've been a little bit too inconsistent for me to really to bet on them to be a high caliber team like the Eagles.
100%. Bucks Commanders, I also think is going to be a really good game. Yeah. And so we both took the Commanders, obviously. I think the Bucks have a much better shot than anyone's going to give them credit for.
Oh, for sure.
They're getting healthy. I understand their defense isn't necessarily there, but I expect this game to be an absolute shootout.
Dogfight.
And Baker Mayfield fantasy holder here. Don't count out Baker.
Yeah.
Let Baker bake.
Baker's got to bake.
He's got to bake.
Baker's got to bake.
The easy game is that top one because I don't think that the Rams have a snowball's chance.
I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that is an easy game because I think.
Wait, what?
That's not an easy game. Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. You're not just talking about they were this fringe playoff team. They looked the part.
They're 10-7. They are a fringe playoff team.
But they played. Yeah, technically they're a fringe playoff team, but why are they a fringe playoff team? They lost some guys that were very important early on. That's where the arrival of Kyron Williams came from.
Again, so we
scoring touchdowns in 8 consecutive games.
We both picked the Vikings, but you think that the Vikings are going to keep the Rams in that game?
Because you're having who is your better quarterback in that matchup?
Sam Darnold.
You're disgusting. You do not sit there and disrespect
Why are you
Super Bowl champion Matthew Stafford.
Passing leaders in the NFL, Sam Darnold, 4,319 yards, 5th place.
Who did he have receiving? He had Justin Jefferson.
Matthew Stafford, 13 at 3,762. Matthew Stafford had Puka and Cooper Kupp, who fell off a cliff.
When did he get Puka? Week 6, buddy. And then Coop went out. And then Coop went out week 2. He had literally nobody to throw the ball, and he's gotten his team to the playoffs. I think they're a sneaky team. Their defense is playing better.
Stop betting against Sam Darnold.
I like Sam Darnold, and I'm rooting for...
You picked the Vikes, so I don't know.
And I'm rooting for Sam Darnold, but I just don't think it's as easy as a game as you think it is. I think that this game is going to come down to it. I mean, you're talking about a team that went toe-to-toe
I think
with
all
the Bills.
The Rams
they
fans
went toe-to-toe
that
with
were
the Bills.
on the internet this week talking a bunch of crap like their team is actually going to do anything this week are about to get exposed because their team is a fraud, and the only reason they made the playoffs is because every team in the NFC West sucks. You're not better than anyone else. You're just as garbage as the rest of us, and the Vikings are going to spank you on Monday Night Football, and it's not going to be a close game.
You sound stupid.
Pull this clip. We'll pull this clip next week.
You sound dumb.
The Rams are going to get embarrassed on Monday night. It's not going to be close. Sam Darnold is him, and then we'll see what all your cocky little takes sound like.
What team
after you lose? Because you're a 10-7 football team. And you know what? If the Seahawks made the playoffs instead of the Rams, I like to think that I'd say the exact same thing. That my team would have no chance against a team that has been leaps and bounds better than any team in the NFC West this year. The Vikings are 14-3. And the Rams are 10-7.
This is so bad.
That is simple math.
I'm so sorry for anybody listening to this. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
We'll see.
Which one of these teams went toe to toe with the Buffalo Bills? Huh? Do you know?
Well, not the Vikings.
No.
Not the Vikings.
It was the Rams.
Any given Sunday.
They got what it takes.
You picked the Vikings.
I did pick the Vikings because I only picked the Vikings because I'm rooting for Sam Darnold and I want to see a resurgence for Sam Darnold.
I think you should pick the Rams.
We
have the same bracket. Pick the Rams.
To me, I'm picking the underdog. Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, the team that has 4 more wins is the underdog.
Yeah.
Crazy take.
No, it's not.
Crazy
The
take.
team with the better quarterback.
SoFi is going to be filled with Vikings fans. And the Vikings are going to win.
Okay.
But I love this because either way, Ozzy might as well just pull this clip now because we will use it next week. It'll just be a matter of who's eating the turd sandwich.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm gonna laugh when it's close.
Now that we're done arguing about a game that we both agree on who's winning in.
Yeah.
Lions Commanders. I think that's the easy one.
Yeah.
I think you got to take the rested, hopefully healthier on defense Lions because I'm rooting for the Lions.
Yeah.
I think my magical dream. Well, it's what we picked.
Right.
And that's how I know it's wrong is because it's what I want to see happen.
Exactly.
The best is.
And Lions. I didn't realize that the Super Bowl colors are red and green.
Yeah.
It makes me want to change my whole
Eagles,
pick.
Chiefs, that was my pick before the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bills have red in them.
Fair. Vikings, Eagles. I think this is the biggest toss up on the NFC side. I do think it will be both those teams. If I don't even want to say if the Rams beat the Vikings because that's ridiculous. But if the Rams beat the Vikings, I have the Eagles playing the Lions in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, for sure.
Will you at least agree that the Rams are not making it past the divisional round? No. Even if they won. They lose to an actual contender. Now, what would be interesting is if the Packers beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because then it throws the whole bracket. I mean, with how close some of these games are, the Rams could end up playing the Commanders in the divisional series. And all of a sudden, I would still pick the Commanders, but I think they have a way better chance. We have Vikings, Eagles, and I picked the Vikings because I don't trust the Eagles.
I don't either. And I also am hoping that the Vikings learned their lesson from letting Jamar Gibbs run all over them and that they stack the box and do not. I mean, I know Saquon's he's going to have a good game, but I think if you can limit his bursts and get him a couple of 2-3 yard gains, you got a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going for the underdog because
I would say the Vikings are the underdog. Yes.
I want to see Sam Darnold be in the AFC Championship when nobody thought he would even be a good quarterback.
That would be an NFC Championship against the Lions in Detroit, NFC North rivalry.
Yeah.
Rematch for the Super Bowl. Lions losing in the NFC Championship last year. Vikings, who everybody, including us, had in last place in the division with the revival of Sam Darnold. That's how you know it won't happen. It's a great story.
Me about this is the pressure that Detroit feels in these games and that they'll feel if they make it to the Super Bowl.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's not just about
100%
a Super Bowl. It's not just about your team. You're talking about first ever.
Okay, so I'm going to change my Super Bowl victor.
You're disgusting.
Just because I want to be different. I want to argue just one more time. It's fun. So we both have Lions Bills in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we have KC losing.
And I took the Lions. But if the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they will have taken down the only thing that's kept them from a Super Bowl in the past, in my mind. I think the Bills were the second best team in the NFL multiple years in a row.
Yeah. I don't love the matchup for Detroit versus Buffalo.
And I think that Buffalo against the Lions, if Buffalo slayed the Dragon against KC, I think that they're ready. I
think, but at what cost is my thing.
What do you mean?
At what cost did they slay the Chiefs? Like how, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you can't predict injuries.
No,
and that can always throw a wrench into this. And Lions Bills would be such a fun Super Bowl that's how you know it's not going to happen.
Right.
You know it's going to be the Chiefs. out of the AFC.
Yeah, because they want to
And
sell.
it'll
They
probably
want to
be
sell the 3-peat.
It'll probably be the Eagles.
It makes cool
like I
little
predicted right before.
promo videos.
It does, but we'll see. I am so excited for these playoffs.
I'm just excited
think
for the NFC.
We have been.
I wish I want to be an NFC team.
Yeah, it's way more fun. I will say.
Yeah.
The NFC's.
Oh,
you look at this first week, and I'm like,
it didn't used to be like that. The AFC used to be stacked. I mean, last year there was like 8 teams fighting for a playoff spot.
I think that there are 5 teams in the NFC out of 7 that I could see really making a run here. I think there's only 3 out of the AFC, and 2 of them are going to meet in the divisional round.
There's only 3 teams that could beat the AFC teams that are going to make it, though.
Who's that?
Either the
Lions,
Eagles, or Vikings. I don't think if somehow Tampa got through,
no,
Packers got through, Rams got through.
I think Commanders. The Commanders.
I can't believe you didn't pick the Commanders.
I have them.
Not the Commanders. I can't believe you didn't pick Tampa.
I mean, I like the Bucks, but Jaden Daniels has been too good. It's not even worth. I mean, we can talk about it to death, but ultimately, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Wait and see how
what happens.
Stupid dumb we are.
I mean, you know that it would be incredible if either of these were still intact after week 1.
Yeah,
because someone's going to upset. I mean, the Pack. At least
who's your almost upset of the week?
I think it's got to be the Packers, right?
Packers.
But the Bucks.
What about AFC?
AFC? Well, I have the Chargers winning. So what is the upset that the Texans actually show up to play football this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's not really an upset there.
I don't know.
It'd be just like a colossal fail for the other team. Like it's not really.
So it makes it great. You can play a fantastic season and choke it all away in 1 week.
Yeah, sure can.
That's football, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
So sad it's almost over.
Let's get some other folks in here, see how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we all have real jobs, and we got busy, and we weren't able to talk to anyone except for Stacy, who thinks the Packers are going to win, and Shinar, who thinks the Bills are going to win, and Roger, whose team doesn't play. So, we'll just go to the outro now. Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming in, stopping by. We will talk to you next week after the first week of the playoffs. So, yeah, if you think we're stupid, like and subscribe. If you think we're smart, don't watch. We only want people watching that think that we're dumb and hate the show. So we'll see you next week. To the house.